Hello, agate lovers. Check this out. What do you think this stone is? Take a close look. You give up? This is Graveyard Point Agate. Graveyard Point Agate. I have never worked with this before. I got this piece from a wonderful Facebook seller. And I thought, for this video, let's take this chunk of Graveyard Point Agate and slab it. Eventually make some cabochons. But let's get it slabbed first and see how it looks on the inside. Now I worry because, as you can see, these valleys and these pockets are very deep, which means there won't be a lot of solid material when this is all slabbed. But who knows? Maybe we'll see some amazing patterns and we'll have enough material to make some beautiful cabochons. So I'm gonna get this thing started on the slab saw, probably put it in like this and just make a bunch of slabs through here. And we'll come back in here and take a closer look at them. For this size stone, I like to use this 10-inch saw. Here you can see I've got the stone locked tightly in the vise. The vise is attached tightly to the carriage. The carriage is locked in place to the drive screw and the end stop is set, which means all we have to do now is put the cover on and then we throw the switch. Let the cutting begin. So this saw is a lot cleaner than the 18-inch saw next to it because I use a water solvent. Just regular water with a little additive. It's easier to clean up. It's just not as messy as the oil saw next to it. Of course, I can only do certain size stones with this saw. Okay, so the first cut is finished. Looks pretty interesting. I like that. Now, all I have to do is move the vise a couple more times, make some more cuts, and we'll be done with this. Our Graveyard Point Agate is all slabbed. What do you think? Look at this. I'm trying to hold it together here because unfortunately this thing had a few fractures in it and it didn't stay together. So let's go through this and see how these slabs turned out. The first cut, of course, is the end piece. Let's look at this. That's interesting. I like that. It unfortunately has a lot of voids in it, but it's an interesting pattern. Okay, here's the first full slab. I cut these kind of thin. I wanted to get as many as I could. This one's interesting looking. Sort of has a flame pattern in there. I like that. I can probably make something with this, a cabochon. But again, there's a lot of this void here that will make it tricky. But I think this will make something. Here's our next piece. Again, kind of interesting. Has that little flame pattern in it. Let's see, what does the other side look like? Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can see a fracture there. This will probably break if I were to give a little bit of pressure here. Let's do that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there it goes. But you want to do that before you start a cabochon anyway, because that clearly would not have held up. Still, there's enough here to do something. Maybe small cabochon. And here's our next slab. Like the one I just showed you, this one also had a fracture and it broke. But it's still a good looking slab. This one may be the best one yet as far as potential for a cabochon. I like the pattern, and there's mostly material here, so I think it'll look pretty good. Not sure what we can do with this small piece here, but don't worry, it won't go to waste. This next slab is kind of interesting because it broke where that fracture is, and a whole big section broke off as well, which I'll show you next. This though is pretty nice in here. I think we can do something with it. It's pretty small, but it's interesting looking. So this will probably make a nice cabochon in here. Here's the big chunk that fell off when that slice was being cut. As you can see, a fracture just snapped this whole end off. But this will make a good tumbler, I think. There's enough material here. Maybe, maybe not, we'll see. And this is the last slab I made. It had to be thin, unfortunately, because I had run out of room with my carriage on my 10-inch slab saw, but it's nice. I think it's pretty. I think we can do something with it. What do you think? And finally, here's the end cut. This is what I had mounted in the vise. Still some good material in here. Maybe this piece I'll tumble. You know, I'll maybe grind off this stuff to start with and then throw it in the tumbler and see what this looks like. That could be a nice polished rock. What do you think? Well, there you have it. That's our Graveyard Point Agate all slabbed up. I did the best I could. Considering all the fractures in it, it was a little challenging, We still got some good stuff out of it though, some good pieces. I'll make some cabochons, maybe some other things. I think they'll be nice and pretty and shiny and lots of interesting details in there when I'm finished. So be sure and check my other videos for that. I don't know when I'll get to it, but probably in the next few weeks. It's an odd piece right there. But it has a handle on it. A slab with a handle, I like it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure and check my other videos for more like this. Thanks again.